Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Our topic today is new business enterprises to create jobs in Southeast Michigan. Here to discuss it with us is the Vice President of Goodwill Industries of Greater Detroit, Lindsay Chalmers. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me, Laurel.
We're actually talking about one specific new business enterprise at the moment to create jobs, and that is a retail store that Goodwill Industries is opening. And folks may not be aware, you haven't been in the business of retail for an awfully long time.
No, that's true. We haven't been in that operation probably for at least 10 years, and there were a variety of reasons that we left it. But we decided after about a year and a half's worth of research and doing various forms of planning that it was time to go back in for a number of reasons. We certainly had the business expertise in place in terms of management, and it was also the ability to use a brand recognition, a brand itself that had not been used in a very long time and yet is very much associated with Goodwill. So we think we've got it right, and we're ready to go.
So what type of store are you opening, where and when? Okay,
well, it'll be a resale store, a donated goods resale store, but a little different than perhaps what people are used to. It'll be a little bit more upscale in its look, more of a department store decor. And it is going in on Ford Road, right across from the IKEA Center, where it's, of course, the highest amount of traffic almost in Michigan on that stretch of highway.
In Canton, correct?
In Canton, yeah. And it should open about mid-October. We're in there doing renovations as we speak. So
you say department store, resale store. Is it going to be clothing, furniture, all kinds of a mix of goods that people can purchase there?
It will be. It'll be hard goods and soft goods, predominantly soft goods, more in the clothing and apparel ends. But there will be some hard goods, furniture, kitchen utensils, things of that nature. But again, the emphasis is on gently used. It isn't going to be everybody's envisionment of what a thrift store used to be 20 years ago, where you walked in and you were sort of discouraged the moment you walked in. This will be much different.
It's not a giant garage sale.
No, no, definitely not.
But also the emphasis on creating jobs.
Yes.
How many jobs do you think the new store will create? And is there an added benefit in that many of the folks that will be able to work in the store might be folks that would have a very difficult time finding jobs elsewhere?
Well, yes, and that is our mission. The mission of Goodwill for over 90 years has been to put people with employment challenges to work. So that is the clientele that we serve. And in this instance, it'll probably create a total of 25 jobs with management. And I would say the vast majority will come from our programs, so that we'd be bringing them through a training program, giving them the skills necessary to obtain work history, credentials, references, and so forth, to bring them back into working society. So, yeah, it's a way to restore lives, a way to create jobs, and of course then, in the end result, the revenue will go back in to support the mission to do more of the same.
I was just going to ask, so the profits that you acquire from selling the goods will go back into job training and helping folks and that type of thing?
Absolutely. That's what we do, and we have been doing for a very, very long time.
If this all goes well, will you be opening more retail stores?
Yes. Actually, we've been in numerous discussions on that, and so that's a very strong possibility in the years to come. But we're going to concentrate on making this the exact store that we had envisioned a year and a half or so ago when we began this project, and make sure that we have everything right, so that we have best practices and that we have, the best of staff and the best of the images and the building through the community and the collaborative relationships that have to exist to support that. So once we do that, then sure, we'll take a hard, fast look at moving forward. But for right now, this is the biggest concentration.
So certainly, obviously, this big news, getting back into retail. Overall, if folks aren't intimately familiar, what is the overall mission goal of Goodwill Industries?
Well, and that's an interesting question, Laura, because what we do in Detroit is so much different than what we do nationally. Nationally, retail or donated goods is a very large part of everybody's mission in all of the 300-plus stores there are. In Detroit, it isn't that. We are what we call a social enterprise agency. Half the corporation is devoted to training, bringing workers back into the workforce, but then the other part of business enterprises that we own to create the jobs that employ those people.
Tough job in a tough economy. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
For more information on today's topic, you can head to goodwilldetroit.org. Today's Comcast Newsmaker was Lindsay Chalmers, the Vice President of Goodwill Industries of Greater Detroit.